I distinctly said, cut it loose! Cut it loose! Cut it loose! Cut it loose! This pirate flick, it sank! Carol Co. Studios! Oh, we're gonna cut it loose! Cut it loose! Cut it loose! There were no budgetary constraints, with dozen cases of V8. From mall to the cut it loose! Cut it loose! Cut it loose. It hurts. 30 years later, and it still fucking hurts. Cutthroat Island. One of the biggest goddamn fiascos of a box office bomb of all time comes to us from director Rennie Harlin, who has done good films in the past. He also did the trilogy of the new Strangers reboot, soft reboot, invasive reboot, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that was not that well received with Chapter 1, to the point that they couldn't release all three within the same year as they planned. They're spreading those out. What else has Rennie Harlin done? Well, he did Die Hard 2. He did other stuff before that, but I don't really want to talk too much about that, except A Nightmare on Elm Street 4. I think that was Dream Warriors. Was that number 5? I don't really care. He also did Cliffhanger. Remember when Sylvester Stallone tried to be a dramatic actor, even in his action movies? Didn't necessarily work. He also did The Long Kiss Goodnight, which was far, far better than this. Also featured his wife at the time, Gina Davis. And Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue Sea was fun. And it all went downhill. He did Driven. That wasn't very good. He did Exorcist, The New Beginning. Or The Beginning. It should have been New Beginning. They should have maybe exorcised all the bullshit out of that franchise. He also did The Covenant, which I have not retro-reviewed, and I may have to do at some point. I remember being really bad. He also did 12 Rounds, when they tried to make John Cena an action star. Well, he was in his prime in WWE. Now he's doing way better. Just the amount of bullshit that Rennie Harlin did. By the way, 6 writers. There were 6 people involved in this. Did everybody just take turns getting super blackout drunk to the point they're like, okay, wait, I'm woken up. All right, let me write this story element. Let me drink another bottle. They spent $98 million on this. Carol Co. Studios went bankrupt. They basically went totally tits up. They were having financial issues anyway. I don't know what they funded that caused this. I don't really care. They were going to fund something with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, anyway, I'm just going to say that right. I feel almost dirty saying that because you have to be really careful saying that. Really careful. Good old Arnold S. It's like Arnold Palmer, but with more Austrian juices. Now picture his Austrian juices in your drink. You're welcome. So, yeah, 6 writers. 6 fucking writers for this. If you think I'm going to talk about a lot of plot of Cutthroat Island, you don't know me very well. This is, I would argue, more inept than Waterworld because it's so plain and so bland and so banal that even Waterworld had, like, some fancy... It also cost about twice as much. But, yeah, Mark Norman, who did the Mission Impossible television series and also Shakespeare in Love. Oh, yeah, fuck you, Mark Norman, for having anything to do with Shakespeare in Love. I am sore over that movie winning Best Picture when Saving Private Ryan was right there. You gave it to Shakespeare in Love. The Academy is full of idiots. Robert King, who also did television and wrote Vertical Limit. Yes, they had writers on that set, apparently. I don't know how. It was a mountain climbing movie. Back when they thought Chris O'Donnell could be a big screen action star. And Reynold Gideon, Bruce A. Evans, James Gorman, and Michael Frost Beckner, who did Spy Game. Mr. Beckner, that is. There were like 4 people that did the story and 2 people that did the screenplay, and I'm convinced that nobody actually bothered to do anything. This movie was such a mess. Has Gina Davis in it, who plays Morgan Adams, a dreaded pirate Morgan. Felt like drinking some Captain Morgan while watching this. Matthew Modine. Remember when he was going to be an A-list star? Frank Langella, or Langella, however you say it, apparently really liked his role. His name was Dog Brown. So this movie had that dog in him. I'm sorry. I am so sorry for saying that as a 44-year-old white guy. And, yeah. You had various other people, though I find it funny that Matthew's character was named William Shaw. And then Mr. Glasspool's real name is Stan Shaw. That must have been monumentally confusing on set. We need Shaw here. Wait, real Shaw or fake Shaw? Maybe Sam Shaw. Let's get Dexter Lumis on. I don't think Dexter Lumis would have been able to be on set because he's 40 now, so he would have been 5. That would have been awkward. No, he would have been 10. Good Lord. It's a pirate's life at sea, and this movie should have been left out to sea. It should have been, had an anchor tied around its goddamn ankles and sunk to the bottom. This had a $98 million budget. Basically, that's $208.3 million in today's dollars. I can't even speak because I'm so mad about reliving this movie. I'm going to relive other bad movies. By the way, fair warning, such as In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale. Only that one, because I'm not watching the other one. And Alone in the Dark. Possibly Alone in the Dark too, but at least Alone in the Dark at some point. And also Howard the Duck. Yes, you can expect a Howard the Duck retro review. Probably full of expletives. Probably full of a lot of them. Let's get back to Cutthroat Island. A $2.3 million opening. For those of you that can't really do math all that well, unless you're doing Steiner math, which is the best math, that is not much. That is way, way lower than $98 million. And that would be $4.8 million in today's money. It made $10 million. Worldwide total. That's it. That is $21.2 million in today's money. A major loss, which even if this movie had made $80, $90 million, even if it had somehow done well at the box office, it was not a good year for water-based action like this. Waterworld, I guess, because of DVD sales and whatever, turned a small profit, which, congratulations, it still was an over-bloated, over-budgeted mess. And so was this. Oliver Reed apparently was fired for getting in the bar fight. He was going to, I think, play Mordecai, which, that's the uncle. And you kind of can tell that because they almost modeled the character after Oliver Reed. And some of the people were so burned they looked like Oliver Reed's liver. And he apparently, allegedly tried to moon Gina Davis, proving that as great of an actor as Oliver Reed was, maybe not the best guy to be around. So, yes, apparently Gina Davis and Rennie Harlan wanted cases of V8 shipped from the Isle of Malta. Why didn't you just bring some from, I don't know, the U.S.? Was it that much? Were the tariffs working in reverse back then? And just the amount of bullshit going on. I mean, yes, there were issues such as raw sewage pouring in the water tank that they were using to do some of their water shoots. Good job there. And the chief camera operator was fired by Rennie Harlan, and over 24 crew members quit. That's all on IMDb, by the way. There's other factoids. But yeah, Rennie and Gina basically begged to be let go. Just like, please let us go. I guess this is before the camera operator thing. But the studio said, no, we're going to do it. Just Lionsgate distributed this, by the way. Further proving, I think, that Lionsgate has always had really, really bad luck with distributing films. And apparently Matthew Modine, that barrel that he got hit in the head with, apparently that was for real. Yeah, the studio, Carolco Studios, which I'm just going to call them Jellico Studios because I remember that stuff from video games long ago. And This movie is just absolute dog shit from beginning to end. Yes, at the end of the day, it is truly an inoffensive pirate movie, but the fact they spent so much money at this time, and it's crazy to say that a movie that came out when I was 14 is that old. Like, my God, but at one point, Gina had, what was it? Captain Morgan had him, she had slept with some guy, I believe. I think the character's name, I don't know if that was Trotter or not. I actually really don't care. Because so many of these people look alike, but, oh, that won't work. The monkey had the balls, the stupid monkey. Said, see, I took your balls. Okay, see, that might have been kind of creative. No. And Gina having much better success in A Long Kiss Goodnight, because that was actually a good movie. It also had Samuel L. Jackson in it. It's hard to miss with a movie with him in it. So, Uncle Mordecai. And her father, Harry, had a map on his head. And if they shave his head, they'll find part of the map. Him and his two other brothers, including Dog Brown, yes, Dog, his name was Dog. His name was Dog, D-A-W-G. Who named these characters? What writer is responsible for this stuff? I just want to talk by running you preferably in front of a, well, I can't really say that because that would actually constitute being mean, but let's just say that writer should never be allowed to do anything again. And this movie truly having that dog in it, we have Trotter, God, damn near killed her. And there's a monkey, because this movie didn't hate me enough that we have to include a monkey. I hate monkeys, by the way. I don't like them. I don't want them tortured. They deserve, a good life just away from me. I think monkeys are just, quite frankly, annoying. Maybe that might explain why I didn't like the monkey. Maybe that might explain why I didn't like Outbreak, except actually Outbreak was well made. And came out in 95. A lot of weird movies coming out in 95. So, she scalped her own dad because her dad got shot during an attempted getaway. And now she's got part of his scalp that had the map on it, but it's in Latin. So she goes to find Matthew Modine, who since has been kidnapped because he tried to steal some stuff from women at a ball. Without an escape plan, you always have an escape plan. She says, stop your chatter and say something Latinish. That was a line that somebody got paid for. And that person should have to give that money back for writing a line so goddamn shit. So, her and William basically end up buddying up essentially. But that does take a bit because Mummy style, she has to auction or win an auction and get him. I know The Mummy came out 4 years after this, but The Mummy did it better. Also Rachel Weisz. Never mind. Let's just move on from that. This movie needed more explosions. There were not nearly enough explosions in this. And Dog is like, okay, let's just take care of all this. Let's just, pursue them. Let's just keep on going. By the way, Cutthroat Island is found in, I assume, the Florida Keys. I don't really know. I don't really care. But during that fracas with the auction and everything, the aftermath of that, she got shot, and then she got a bullet taken out of her by William, who claims to be a doctor. He's not a doctor, but he played one on TV, despite the fact there was no TV at this point. So he just figured it out through osmosis. And a bad romance, the likes of which Lady Gaga could only dream about. And, oh, look, Uncle John happens to be back here. I wonder if he's going to have anything to say about this. So, William knew about the map, he knew about this other stuff, and he figured out these things about where Cutthroat Island is. Because he's a rambler and a gambler, and I guess he always will. And they have to navigate the storm to get to Cutthroat Island. The ship is fucked. Those sets must have been destroyed, but then again, the studio lost all that money and spent all that money, so it's your fault. It's your fucking fault. If any Carol co-executives, former executives happen to be watching this, you're fucking idiots. Just want to let you know that. So, it's an attempted mutiny that actually becomes a legit mutiny where they just take over because people could just do that. So, go about your business, get on this boat. Morgan, Captain Morgan, and a few others, including Blair, he's got the weird face tattoos on. They go off. William jumps to get to the getaway boat, which ends up being fucked in the storm, and that sounded a lot dirtier in my head, but let's just move on. And basically, the betrayal leads to Dog finding the goddamn thing, so he's Dog the treasure hunter. I could have said the bounty hunter, but I wasn't going to be that cheap with my jokes. So William essentially gets caught in quicksand and has the piece of the map and everything, the other piece of the map, but he puts it under dagger and is going to sink, but then they get him out, and yeah, we just basically get more interactions, and they go into a cave where there's all this treasure and this bone pile. Almost like maybe there's a deadly creature. No, there's not. But as they're trying to get the treasure back up, Captain Morgan gets to taken by dog because, of course, that's it's the niece uncle thing where I assume you always want to keep your niece close to you, or you don't want your niece to become a pirate, so you become a bald, stupid named uncle, whatever that tale is. And Matthew Modine, he basically says, okay, bring her down, and I'll take care, and I'll give you the treasure. Okay, sends her down, he catches her, they drop, they get the treasure, but then they fall, and she's kind of all fucked up because she fell pretty far. Then Uncle John shows back up, and oh my god, he betrays William, and now William's back on the ship, and now she's got to get her crew together to take care of this, and it's just so bad. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate you, Rennie Harlin, for being allowed to make other movies after this. Except The Long Kiss Goodnight. After that, you should have gone out on a high note. This will not fucking end. This movie is like 2 hours and 5 minutes. That's with end credits. There's a lot of end credits, and it feels an hour longer than that. Beau Was Afraid was 3 hours, and even though there were parts that did feel that, a lot of that passed quickly. The various people, members that are loyal to Captain Morgan get back on the ship, and then I know that during a ship battle, Suikoden 4 and 5 had more realistic battles. Even Suikoden 4, the worst entry in the Suikoden franchise. For those that are still watching by this point, if you know what that means, my god, you love obscure video game references. And William is once again safe. We get more shit blowing up and everything, and the treasure's at the bottom of this ship, so naturally it's going to sink. Everything's totally goddamn fucked. But who is dying and why should I care is what I kept noting. This, again, will not end. We have niece and uncle on top of the mast and everything. I guess they were Catholic, har har. And she falls down and she's dead, except she's not because she's the star of the goddamn thing. So, some of the ship is on fire. She gets a piece of wood because she's mortally wounded. I don't know, what are you going to do? Burn me with that little stick? No, I'm going to burn this. And it's a cannon. And she says, bad dog. And that's right there where I said every writer should have been made to apologize to every viewer of this. Every viewer deserved an apology from you goddamn tumors. Jesus Christ. So anyway, she saves William, and no time for the treasure, it sinks. Oh no, there'll be other treasure, except oh no, she tied the treasure to a barrel that was floating, and now everything's good. Guess you can fit all that treasure in a goddamn barrel. And she gives it to her men. Her men aren't sure if they want to go on, but hey, we could go to Madagascar and we could get more treasure, because they thought they were going to get a sequel out of this. You thought you were going to get a sequel out of this. God forbid if they make a sequel. I could see them doing it. Except Gina Davis is older than dirt at this point, so I don't know if that's a good idea. And Rennie Harlin, my God, he's got to be about 200 years old. God, Cutthroat Island is bad. And I get it. Like, I know it's supposed to have just a cheesy charm to it. I know a few people that like it. One is a very dear friend of mine. And that's great that you found humor in this. But I hated this. I mean, I hated it the first time I watched it. And this is the third time I've seen it in my life. Watched it when it came out on video. One of the first things I ran on DVD. And this is just so banal and bland and just bad. It's just so bad. So yeah, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Wentland. Until we're on the high seas again, happy trails to you.